Kevin J. Johnston here. This is part 3 of the employer health tax video series that I've done. Oh, why do I have to keep doing this? Well, I do because the province of Ontario, along with the federal government of Canada, are going to continue to try to rob you. And that's why I am here. Recap. I bought a corporation. The corporation had millions of dollars of debt. It had a surprise bill that showed up for $440,000 for something called the employer health tax. You're going to hear in this conversation, I speak to the actual auditor who put the $440,000 tab onto this corporation that I purchased. Now, the cool part is the guys who sold me the corporation, they can go live large. They don't have to worry about this. It's now completely on me because I bought the company, and that is what I do for a living. Having said that, I need you to hear what this woman has to say. She's a young woman in her 20s who is an auditor who went ahead and made the bad judgment call to just go ahead and put an arbitrary number onto the bill for this corporation because she felt like doing it. You'll find also that she had no idea what the corporation actually owed, to which I have found out it owed only $12,000, not $440,000. They're not getting it anyway. But the point I want to make here is the $440,000 came from the fact that she says that she couldn't reach the previous owner and that the previous owner spoke to her at some point but didn't cooperate. So she went ahead and looked at what the Canada Revenue Agency guessed to be the amount. And she says, oh, well, the CRA says it, so it must be real. And she went ahead and did it. You're going to hear her admit to essentially being a criminal, and you're going to hear her admit that she has no authority and no power. You're also going to hear me challenge her to flex her legal muscle to do something to punish me because I ain't paying it. Here is the conversation. How can I help the Ministry of Finance today?
Yes. So I think we had a conversation last week, and you had actually requested me to call back today.
Yeah, I'm just sorry. I have so many clients. Which client was this in reference to?
Of course, this is.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we talked last week. Sorry, your name was again?
Christy.
That's right. That's right. Okay. I remember the whole conversation now. So what have you determined out of everything that we had spoken about last week?
Yes, exactly. So we did review the file. I was speaking with my manager regarding it. And so right now, I think I guess you had a request to, remove the amount. So unfortunately, it can't be accommodated because the audit has already closed. The option that is next would have been the filing for a notice of objecting the assessment amount. Unfortunately, I think, so we do have the 100-day period after the issuing of the notice of assessment. Unfortunately, I did calculate it, and it was actually it just passed. However, there is a potential that you can apply for an extension for that time, and you can apply for the extension anytime within 1 year of receiving that notice of assessment. So it was issued on February 26th. So you have 1 year from then to apply for an extension and to file a notice of objection on the assessment.
Okay, so that you said February 26th. I'm going to just recap the conversation that we had previously so that we're on the same page and that I'm making sure I'm speaking to the right person for the right reason. Alrighty, so there is something in Ontario called the employer health tax, which is not a health tax, does not fund the OHIP program or the hospitals or healthcare in any way. And it's a tax the Ontario government places on top of payroll based on how much money is paid out in payroll. I don't think that the average person knows that that tax exists. And I found it not ironic. I found it interesting that this apparent debt did not surface until my name was on the ownership records of this corporation. Why would that be, out of curiosity?
I'm sorry. So what when did the amount surface? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because there was no surfacing of any kind. We couldn't find any correspondence beyond one letter that was received after I took over the corporation, which again, the timing was very odd on that.
So the amount would have been on the file after the audit closed, and the audit closed date was when the post-audit letter was issued, which is dated February 26th, 2025.
I see. Okay, so let's cover a few more things here if we could then. So the Ministry of Finance expects Ontario corporations to pay the employer health tax, and you'll pursue a corporation in what fashion or in what way if they haven't paid it?
I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but so when I conduct my audits, the audit assessment, and I think you mentioned it was an estimate and you said guess, but
yes, wild guess.
So the assessment gets posted to the account. So from there, it moves into the collections department, and that's where they reach out to, again, the company owner or anyone they can find to address the balance owing. So in that format, I don't know the collections branch procedure, but I do know that from a balance owing, that's where it goes.
Okay, and again, I just have to re-ask a few of these questions here. You are an auditor, and when you lay claim to having the authority to audit anyone, what true power do you have?
I don't understand the question.
Well, had the previous owners of the corporation declined to cooperate with you, what would you have done?
So as per our procedures, as our audit procedures, we do try to reach out multiple times. If we do not receive information, I think we did go over this, but the demand letter is issued by my audit manager, and then we assess using an estimated assessment, and the taxpayer does have time to provide us with the information if, again, in the scenario they declined to provide any information. The estimated assessment will be posted to the account.
Okay, I'll again just repeat what you've said here in the layman's term. The Ontario government wants money from whomever it can get. They contact you, you contact a corporation that I guess is given to you as a file. You make the statement that you are an auditor and you're going to conduct an audit. And if you don't like what you see, or let's just say you think that you could acquire some money out of the company, even if they don't owe it, you could take a guess, which is an assessment, and put that value against the debt that that corporation owes and then intimidate them at a later time to pay it. I think I've got it right, but you tell me if I got it wrong.
That is, I guess, how it would, yes.
Excellent. Okay. So the intimidation factor, I'll tell you this. The previous owners had contacted me and they were really terrified. I don't know what you told them, but they were terrified that the cops were going to be kicking in their doors at home and kicking in their doors at the office, and that guns would be blazing and they'd be locked up and disappear for 4 or 5 years in prison. Where did they get that idea from?
I don't know how they would get that idea from. I had one conversation over Google Meets with the owner. Other than that, it was all emails, and none of those correspondence would have ever gone that far.
I see. So the cops don't get involved when the Minister of Finance believes that they are owed money. There's no police action.
So in terms of the audit process, the police are not involved in the audit process.
I see. And you're now trying to state that the police are involved in some way. Is that correct?
I don't know, because it's, again, the audit file has already closed and it's moved into the collections branch. So
I see.
How the collection procedures are, I do not know.
I see. Okay.
But
So,
I can assure that the police were not involved during the audit process.
okay. And you are not armed and nobody gets shot if they owe money to the Ontario government. Is that correct?
I am not armed. For the audit purpose, I'm not armed. And as a desk auditor, I also do not visit locations.
So you would expect people to conduct the audit for you by answering survey questions and so on.
Yes.
And I guess the province does not offer compensation for the time that it takes for that to happen. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
Okay.
There would be no, I guess, compensation for having the audit completed.
Okay. So in most cases then, or maybe in all cases, no compensation for time is being offered by the Minister of Finance to these corporations, yet you are expecting them under threat of legal action to give you all of this private information for free. Is that what I'm hearing?
So I do want to clarify that in the audit process, we do not threaten to receive or police action. So again, I'm not sure how the taxpayer did. Like, I understand I did not deal with you directly. It was the previous owner, but I do want to assure that I would not be threatening any police action or I guess what you said, guns blazing would not have come from me.
Would you, though, have issued any threats such as using the courts, legal action, taking property, anything like that?
We would not be taking property, no. So again, we request for the records to be sent to us. And so that's what it is. If, again, like you said, the taxpayer declined to do so, then that kind of I guess stops the communications, and I can no longer, I guess, receive the information from the taxpayer. I have to go and look for the information somewhere else. But nobody would be receiving the information from the taxpayer.
So then what do you do if the taxpayers don't cooperate? You said you switch it over to a different department for collections. What happens then?
So again, I don't know exactly what occurs in the collections department because I'm not a part of their department. So again, my kind of my job and my work stops once the audit file has closed, which would have been February 26th. So after that, I can't comment on it.
I understand. And the auditing department doesn't inform the end user that they have the right to remain silent, and anything that they say can and will be used against them to take money. You don't issue that statement, do you?
So I guess you're referring to like criminally, but no, there's no I guess potential statement that indicates that. No.
So okay, but you know that everybody's got the right to remain silent, whether they are under arrest or not. It's just you don't have to answer questions, and you don't tell people of their rights, do you?
So no, I guess because they're not placed under arrest.
Yeah, that's irrelevant. The right to remain silent is yours no matter what the question is. If somebody asks me what size shoes I wear, I tell them it's none of their business. Do you let people know that they have the right to decline the audit?
No, I do not directly say that, but if they don't respond to my questions, then I guess like in this scenario, I have to go and find it somewhere else.
And how would you find it somewhere else?
So the information that we do receive is from the CRA. I think we did kind of.
Well, we brushed on that. Yeah, we touched on this. Go ahead, finish off.
Yeah. So we go and we have a correspondence with CRA.
Right, and the CRA, what they'll do is they'll try to muscle people into giving them money by assessing them, which, like you, is an absolute wild guess, shot in the dark, just trying to throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks and see who's afraid enough to pay them. And then you go to that institution and you base your assessment, your own guess, off of their guess. Do I have that right?
Yes, if they're, again, I don't know how they retain their information, as I do not work for the CRA. So if that is what you have as your information, then yes.
I see. Okay. So the Minister of Finance in the province of Ontario takes a wild guess based on the wild guesses that the CRA makes. And the CRA, look, I know we do taxes for all of our clients here. The CRA, it's 95% of the time that we have guessed on that one. And that's an educated guess, by the way, that they are just guessing themselves based on all the assessments that we see that have nothing to do with the amounts the client actually makes or the amounts the client actually reports. So you're unfortunately what's going on here is you're auditing people based on a guess by the CRA. So the CRA has committed that crime, which is fraud, and then you go ahead and you build on it by extorting people and threatening them with whatever you threaten them with. They are afraid of you. That's the part I want you to understand. They are terrified of you, and you're basing your decision to audit off of the decision of a CRA report that was not an audit. And you don't tell people about their rights. I'm a little concerned about how the province of Ontario does business, if you want the truth. I mean, please tell me if I'm wrong.
I mean, if you feel that that's how it comes across, then I don't know how I can assist in that. But a part of, I guess, the notice of objection process is that you can put your supporting information down, and the file will be reviewed.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
but
again, yes.
Go ahead.
And again, if you have any problems with the audit work that I conducted, then again, I think I did give you my audit manager's information.
Oh yeah.
You can contact them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're going to be continuing to review case law on this. I mean, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the audacity of the Ontario government to tell people that there's an employer health tax, which has nothing to do with funding healthcare, putting another tax on corporations that they can't afford because they can't afford the other ones already. And then you will tell people that they owe money based solely on what the CRA says they owe money, where both of you took a wild guess. And then you're contacting me looking for $440,000. And I suspect that you were expecting me to say, okay, here's a check. Again, tell me if I'm wrong.
Again, that would be part of the collections process. And so I do not know it.
Okay. Are you perchance recording this call?
No.
Okay. Because I was going to give you permission to do so because I'd like you to send a message to the Minister of Finance Collections Department about this particular account, if you don't mind. And it's going to be very polite. Did you want to write it down or did you want to record it?
If it was in terms, I guess, the collections officer can reach out to you as well.
Okay. Well, let's do this because I'm really curious to see if the Ministry of Finance is going to send the police to my front door to kick the door in. I'm really curious to see if the Minister of Finance is going to sue me in any way or issue threats in any way or continue to try to collect a debt of $440,000 that the CRA can't confirm is real, you can't confirm is real, and I have not even confirmed is real as yet, even as the owner of the business. So could you please tell the collections department I am never going to pay this $440,000, and what I will do is I'll put forward my attempt for an objection notice on February 25th of next year. Please let them know that I'm challenging them to do something against me to get paid on this amount. So
again, if you want to, I guess, obtain more information about the collections process, it would be best to get that directly from the collections branch.
Well, you're the auditor, and I'm not being rude when I say this, but you are the one that caused this problem. You are the one that did not inform the previous owner of the corporation that they didn't have to cooperate with you. you also did not inform them of what the employer health tax was. They had no idea what it was. And nor did I until I bought the company. And you didn't tell them that they had the right to legal counsel. You didn't tell them that they had the right to object. You based everything off what the CRA says. And I don't know if you are familiar with how that institution runs, but everything that they do is illegal. And I mean everything. I'm not one of those free men on the land people. I'm telling you that we file criminal charges against these people all the time for things like criminal harassment, intimidation, extortion, fraud over 5,000, obstruction of justice, criminal harassment. It's just crazy what these people do. And when they don't get their way, they assess, which is a wild guess, and you based your wild guess off of their wild guess. So you caused this problem. I'm telling you, please, if you would, for me, as a nice gesture, tell the collections department, Kevin J. Johnston, the owner of is not paying ever and is challenging them to do something about it so that the Ministry of Finance in Ontario can prove to me that they actually have power of some type. I'm willing to bet that they have no power and no authority to do anything that they are doing, and that it's all the same way that the CRA functions, which is intimidation, threats, and the ignorance of the Canadian people. Because Canadians don't know their rights, so they have no idea how tax law functions, and they don't even know what your department is. Obviously, nobody knows what the employer health tax is. So you have the advantage of ignorance on behalf of the Canadian people. But what happens when someone knows everything about tax law and everything about criminal law, is not afraid, and is now issuing a challenge? What do you do? What do you do?
So again, as I'm not in the collections department, I don't know their procedures, and I don't know what the next steps are.
Fine, but you'll do me that favor, will you? You will let the Ministry of Finance know that I'm not going to pay and that I'm challenging them to do something to get paid. Please, would you do that for me?
I can leave a note on the account indicating our conversation.
Sure.
And indicating your, I guess, decline to pay.
Well, it's also a challenge. I need the Ministry of Finance to prove to me that they have some type of authority. You see, I've been challenging the Canada Revenue Agency 14 hours a day for the last 2 years straight to do something. Sue me, file criminal charges against me, steal my house, steal my car, send some thugs to my door with guns. Like, do something to show that you have authority. And they've got nothing. What they do instead is they send me cease and desist letters saying that I can't call them because I'm not nice. I mean, you think I'm nice, right? I've been very polite here. It's a matter of, I'm asking you, please, would you please get the collections department to do something to show that they have authority? Because I'm challenging the entire structure here. I'm challenging your authority. I'm telling you, you don't have any. You got to prove it to me now. Please prove it to me.
So what I can do is, again, leave the note on the account about our conversation. Other than that, I don't know their procedures. I'm not sure what the next steps are.
But you still haven't guaranteed me that you're going to go and tell them this. Basically, like, please, could you go to the department and tell them what we've talked about here? Please.
So, I mean, again, I can leave a note on the account. I don't know, like, it is the collections department, but there are many people involved in it, so there's no specific person that I have to go to.
Okay, so could I ask another favor then? This one may sound a bit rude, but who cares? Could you make sure the person calling me speaks English at 100% fluency? Because there was someone that did call and I had no clue what they were saying. I struggled. I tried so hard to be nice and get through the conversation. It didn't go anywhere because I speak fast, as you can tell. They couldn't understand me and I couldn't understand them. And if the collections department of the Ministry of Finance of the province of Ontario wishes to call me and threaten me, I'd like to be able to understand them. Could you put that note in, please?
I will suggest that you can actually contact them through email, and you can have, I guess, if you request, you can request what you want, but I will not be putting that in the note.
Why not? You can just say that you were talking to this white guy who's really racist. Just put that down. Everyone likes to say that. in Canada. I mean, if you ask for something specifically, automatically you're racist or fascist for some reason. Maybe you could just go ahead and blame me for that. It's a request I'm making. It's not you making the request. It's me making the request. I didn't say white skin, by the way.
You can make that request directly. You should not be making it through me.
But
so if you want to request that, you can.
Okay, but you're the auditor. You're the one that audited the company. This whole problem exists because of you. And now you're saying you don't want to be involved in it.
Well, so it's not like I'm not involved. I totally agree that I am the auditor on the account.
Right.
However, the audit has closed. So it is now over. So unfortunately, at this point in time, the only thing that I can do is, again, as you requested, I will submit a note on the account indicating our conversation, and that's all I can do.
Right. So you're going to have a note that says you had a conversation with some guy. That doesn't help you or me.
Again, so I can't, there's nothing else for me to do on the account because it's already closed. If the audit was already open, I can definitely make changes. I can definitely take a look. But at this point, there's nothing I can do for you.
Okay. I'm not asking you to do it. Look, I'm not asking for a burger and fries here. I'm asking you to tell the collections department I'm mocking them. I am challenging them. I have a theory that the Minister of Finance, just like the Canada Revenue Agency, are merely collection agencies with government funding. They are not police. They are not judiciaries. You have no authority of any kind anywhere in the world, and that includes, of course, Canada, and that nobody has to do anything that you say, and that if you, like me, challenge everything, there are zero consequences that are negative. The consequences are, to me, very positive. I get to keep my $440,000. I mean, do I have to dance around going, nya, 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 you don't get my money? I'd rather not do that. I'd rather you just tell the collections department that you're dealing with a guy who seems very knowledgeable. He seems a bit arrogant. Please punish him. Would you please ask them to punish me in some way so they can prove that they have authority?
I will not be putting that in my notes, but
why not?
Again, if you want to write all of what you have
not really.
said to me in an email.
Well, actually, sorry, to you?
Definitely send that yourself.
To you, yes, because you are the cause of the problem. I would absolutely love to send information directly to you. What's your email address, please?
My email address is Christy. It's Kristi.
Yes.
CHOW.
Yes.
At ontario.ca.
How long have you been an auditor?
I don't think I have to answer that question.
Well, you don't have to answer any of my questions. That's the best part of the right to remain silent. You see, you just exercised your rights under the Charter and the Constitution to remain silent. I mean, I'm not going to ask you any personal questions. I'll ask this one thing. This one thing. Has anybody ever challenged you before on your authority or lack thereof, the way I have today?
And again, I don't think I need to discuss other files that I've completed.
Oh, I don't want to know anybody's files. I don't want to know their names. I don't want their phone numbers. I don't want you to tell me anything about anybody else in the way of personal information, because that would actually be a violation of the Privacy Act and they would be able to sue you. and I don't want that. So I'm just asking, have you been challenged before?
And as it doesn't pertain to my audit, I don't think we need to discuss any of that.
It kind of pertains to the whole thing here, because if your collections department does not take some type of action where I actually feel fear or feel intimidated or feel like I'm about to lose, whether it be freedom or money, if they don't do that, then by default, your entire institution is admitting that you have no authority of any kind. And that, of course, would weaken your position and weaken the Ontario government's position from the standpoint of taking money from people that's not earned. Do you not think?
I don't know. Again, I'm not in the department. I do not know what happened or what occurred.
Okay. But did you study economics before you took this job?
Again, I don't see how that's relevant.
Well, it kind of is, because what I would want to know here is, if you are running an audit, you've told me that you ran the audit based off of what the CRA had to say. But what I do find myself wondering is, let's just say that someone did cooperate with you. Are you well versed enough in tax law and in economics to be able to render proper decisions?
If you have an issue with my qualifications, you can definitely talk to my manager regarding that.
Well, I don't know your qualifications because you haven't told me what they are.
And again, if you have any issues with that, you can definitely speak to my manager.
Well, I don't know. Am I supposed to take issue with the fact that you won't tell me what your qualifications are? Is that what you're wanting me to do?
As per the audit, I was hired by the government of Ontario with the qualifications that I had and with the qualifications that were required. So
okay.
I can't help you any further than the information that I provided to you.
Well, okay, I'm not going to ask you about your qualifications, but when anybody is being hired, male or female, for this position of auditor, is the prerequisite economics, and in the way of a degree or in the way of training? Like, do you actually have to know or have studied at length economics before you're considered for the position? Or is it just you're hired because you applied?
I don't have the job description in front of me, but you can probably take a look at it on the careers website.
Okay. Now, also, does it bother you in any way that I am refusing to pay what your audit report says?
As an auditor, it does not bother me.
I see. But does it bother you that you muscle people into paying money to the Ontario government without informing them of their rights, such as to have legal counsel and or the right to remain silent, like I've informed you today?
Again, that's not a part of my job. My job is to audit the company, and again, that's the work that I do.
I think what I'm hearing here,
again,
it's
a different department.
Yeah, it sounds like you're kind of indirectly saying that compassion is not part of your job. It sounds like your job is to muscle people into paying the government, regardless of what they owe.
I'm not sure if that's how it comes across, then that's how you understand it.
Well, for you to tell a small business of only two owners that magically they owe $440,000, and they were so afraid of you that they kind of ignored you, and now you're saying, surprise, $440,000. I see that as a problem. I see that as, it looks like it is part of your job description to frighten people into at least capitulating to your non-existent authority. That's what it sounds like to me. So I'm interpreting it based only on what you're saying. But again, you've got to tell me if I'm right or wrong. And you're not telling me that I'm wrong.
If you, again, like I can't tell you what to do, and I can't tell you how to think. So it's definitely, like, I can't help you in this situation.
Okay. Before we go then, did you have any questions of me?
No.
None?
None.
Really? Well, then what I want to say is this has been a very enlightening conversation, and thank you very much. And we will continue to do what we had discussed in our previous conversation. Thank you for all of this info. I really do appreciate that. And please, if you could, do find a way to let your collections department know that this is mockery. I am mocking them, and I am challenging them, and that if they don't do something to harm me in some way, that this is a full admission that the Minister of Finance in the province of Ontario has no power. I'll leave you with that. Have a wonderful day.
Yes, you as well.
Thank you. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.
Do you understand now, Canada? Do you get it? None of them have any authority. They are muscling you. They're utilizing your belief that you can do prison time for owing money to get you to give them money. And you just heard it. She has no power. She has no authority. And she won't even tell her supervisor because she's too afraid to say, this guy says, I'm not going to pay. She's afraid of not only the law, but her own employer. So if you've got some young girl auditing you, should you be afraid of her or should you make her afraid of you? They're all afraid of me. In the meantime, if you have a corporation in any Canadian province or territory with GST debt, HST debt, PST debt, payroll debt, income tax debt, bank loans, credit card debt, lawsuits, judgments, municipal fines, provincial fines, or federal fines, sell the company to me. I will set your life back to $0 and 0 cents, putting you into a brand new corporation where you don't have to pay tax for the rest of your life. And then I'm going to take over your payroll so that you never have to pay Canada Pension Plan or employment insurance corporate matching ever again. You are going to be wealthy if I'm your tax guy. Get a hold of me right now at KevinJJohnston.com.